What's up, everybody on YouTube? AJ Rest about to discuss another video, and today we're going to be breaking down Ant-Man and the Wasp: QUANTAMANIA, sharing my spoiler review. So if you have not seen this movie yet, get out of here. I did drop a little reaction yesterday on my channel that you can go check out, but if you haven't seen the movie, go get your tickets to watch this movie, especially if you love Marvel, love hearing about Kang the Conqueror, love Jonathan Majors. Definitely have to go see this movie, and if you're an Ant-Man fan as well. So we're going to be going in depth right now with this film, talking about the things that I liked, disliked, and the mid-credit scene and post-credit scene. So let's go and get into it. All right, so getting straight into the movie, we're at the beginning, of course, back with Ant-Man with Scott Lang. He dropped his new book. All things are going well for him. Of course, he's on top of the world, made a new book, beat Thanos, big Avenger, big part of why the Avengers won in Endgame. So he's really on cloud nine right now in San Francisco, back with Cassie, even though she's younger. Really had to develop the father-daughter dynamic in this movie because he's been gone for so long. And even at that, when he was prior to Endgame and Infinity War, when he was in the MCU, in everything, with that, and not being in the quantum realm and everything, he still really didn't get the time. He spent a lot of time with Cassie, so just making up for a lot of last time, and that's what we saw, of course, in the theme of this movie, Time, with being Kang the Conqueror as a main villain. Yeah, pretty much everything is peachy and cream right now for Scott Lang and him and his family, just trying to catch up with Cassie. Cassie is in jail right now, so she's kind of following in her father's footsteps, being not necessarily a troublemaker, but fighting for what's right, and even when it's not appealing with some of the law enforcement and things like that in San Francisco. And we also learned that she's been working with Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne just on new technology and things of that nature, and ultimately that ends up being the reason why they are in the quantum realm, because it's sending a signal to the quantum realm. So we ended up seeing them there, and like I said, they were barely on Earth in this movie, so they ended up going straight to the quantum realm. Maybe spend 10 minutes in the main 616 MCU, but we just go straight to the quantum realm. And going from that, we're straight into the quantum realm. We're seeing all types of things, all different types of creatures, technology, things we couldn't even fathom. You know that Janet was in there for 30 years, so she's familiar with all that stuff, and she definitely didn't want to go back, but hey, reality led her there. Hank Pym, he was very surprised by everything that he saw. He didn't even think that the quantum realm was anything like that. Just so many layers in the quantum realm, so many different creatures. Like I said, people that look like even humans as well. Krylar, who was of course played by Bill Murray, and basically Janet Van Dyne and Krylar had a little entanglement, as you could tell in the film watching this, when she was in the quantum realm. But we see that he ends up betraying her basically when she's trying to get help getting back to Scott and Cassie, trying to get out of the quantum realm really as quick as possible. But we see that Krylar, he's basically already surrendered them to Kang. They get in a little fight and a little squabble, but ultimately, you know, Kang ends up reaching them, ends up reaching Cassie, and of course Scott. And we see really Kang. Let's talk about Kang right now. Kang in his full flesh. So man, I really don't want to know where to start with this. I'm not going to go everything chronologically because, like I said, there's things I liked about this movie and things that just didn't work for me. So let's talk about Kang real quick. We're going to go a little bit in depth. So at the ending, like, bro, really? Do you really think that Ant-Man should beat him? I mean, I understand, of course, the technology, and of course, Ant-Man is smart. Of course, Hank Pym is smart, and they use their resources to their advantage, and even having the ants in the quantum realm who have been in the quantum realm, getting smarter, getting advanced technologically. I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, Kang the Conqueror, he's supposed to have the upper hand and all that, and I don't really think he died, because at the end, we saw him got sucked into that vortex, and there's been rumors about him potentially being the Beyonder in Avengers Secret Wars, at least that specific version of Kang. So, I mean, I could see that, but at the same time, like, I really don't like that. Like, a lot of things, like I said, were nerfed in this movie. And I really thought that I was going to enjoy this movie more, like my friends and I were saying in our little reaction video yesterday. I mean, this film had so much potential. I will say that Jonathan Majors is absolutely Kang the Conqueror. He was a highlight of the film for me. Loved his performance and looking forward to more of him in the MCU. Seeing some of his backstory, as him and Janet Van Dyne had met initially in the quantum realm when she was trapped there for 30 years, and just seeing how they really collaborated and became friends. And then we saw the betrayal, of course, when she saw his little vision touching his time chair, seeing all the planets that he exiled, all of the planets that he conquered. But in my opinion, I just really didn't like how they had Ant-Man basically defeat him. There's no way. We all know that Ant-Man should not have defeated him, and obviously for plot convenience and things of that nature, making things going into the future, because we knew that they weren't gonna kill the main version of Scott Lang and Ant-Man. But still, bro, you're supposed to be showing these general audiences, people that don't know about Kang the Conqueror, people who have thoughts and doubts and questions about, you know, Kang the Conqueror and about the future of Marvel, because people think that Phase 4 was mid. I can see why they think that. You should have showed Kang the Conqueror in his full flesh. You know, we saw how menacing he can be, how serious he can be. Also, it wasn't a lot of jokes with him. He was really direct in what he wanted to do, and he really should accomplish, in my opinion. And there's just a lot of things that talk about that. Kang Dynasty, they're going to be gearing up to film that soon, because the film comes out in 2 years in 2025. So we're going to see how that goes and how that transpires. But I'm really annoyed by how they just had Ant-Man conveniently win. I mean, I understand it to an extent, but still, bro, Kang the Conqueror, I mean, he's that guy, bro. Like, you you have to flesh them out for real. And I feel like they will, but I just don't like how convenient things were sometimes. And a lot of the story was just all over the place. Kang, I mean, I've been looking forward to him. I got a Kang shirt that I wore there. I mean, like I said, I was excited for this movie. This film is kicking off Phase 5, and right now, I mean, I was seeing a lot of the reviews too. Like, it was like rotten on Rotten Tomatoes, which you shouldn't really put your movie expectations based on a critic rating like that, but they're usually pretty accurate, and they were accurate about this because this film was very subpar in my opinion. But I mean, there were elements that I did like about it. Like I said, Kang, of course, he was great. Some stuff that fell flat for me. I would say MODOK is one. I mean, some people said like MODOK was really bad. He was okay, I guess. I don't know. He looked very weird. Like, you'll see the photos that I showed from the movie. Oh my gosh, like, it was very cringy. I wish he just kept the helmet on. Of course, he was Darren Cross, Yellow Jacket, who got sucked into the quantum realm at the end of the first Ant-Man film. But yeah, I mean, and then there's a lot of forced comedy, which is really typical in the MCU nowadays that you've seen over the years. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's very annoying. It just depends on the circumstance, and there's some more of that as well. But I mean, I would definitely put this film at the middle of the pack. And yeah, I mean, it was cool, I guess. I'm excited to see more Ant-Man, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where things pick up, you know, in Kang Dynasty. Because we know that we have really only 2 films this year. Because today a poster was released from Marvel Studios about the Marvels. And that film got delayed until November. So it's November 10th. And now Guardians of the Galaxy comes out in May. So that's just 2 more films. And then also it's been speculated that we only getting 2 more shows in Secret Invasion and Loki Season 2. Now, of course, we're going to talk about the post-credit scene in a second, which will connect to Loki Season 2. I think that this is a good decision, only dropping 4 more projects. Because, I mean, a lot of things in Phase 4 seem very rushed. You always want to have quality over quantity. I mean, of course, we love seeing all of these different shows, different characters. But if the stories aren't good, I mean, what's the point, bro? Like, we don't want that. So I understand it. But this is not the best way to start off Phase 5. I mean, I'm not going to lie. See some of the power that Kang has, obviously. But really, in the film, like I said, it was a middle-of-the-pack film for me. It's a film that I would have on the background while I'm doing something. In all actuality, the favorite part of the film for me was the mid-credit scene and the post-credit scene. More so the post-credit scene because, I mean, the mid-credit scene was cool, but also it was kind of corny too at the same time. Like, I mean, I understand it. It shows the Council of Kangs, which is also a panel in the comics from Avengers 292 in 1988. It shows the Council of Kangs. We see 3 main versions, seeing Immortus, seeing Rama Tut, and one that looks like a futuristic version of Kang. It's been speculated that's just like a future version of him, or also Scarlet Centurion. There's so many versions of Kang the Conqueror when I was doing my research on it. Also in the post-credit scene, we see Victor Timely, which is also another version of Kang in the comics as well. And also, that's a hint to Marvel's first name before being called Marvel Comics. It was called Timely Comics. But yeah, we're talking about the mid-credit scene first. So we see all those different Kang variants in this arena, recreating Avengers 292. And like we see Immortus. He's a version of Kang the Conqueror. He seems like the eldest version. And also the futuristic version, we can speculate if it's Scarlet Centurion or just a futuristic version of Kang. He seems like a little rebel kind of towards Immortus. And then we see Rama Tut. And Rama Tut was really hinted at and had an Easter egg in Moon Knight. I think it was episode 3 of season 1 where one of the people fighting Moon Knight had like a little jacket on, a little jean jacket, in the back of it was like painted of Rama Tut. A little panel from, I think it was like a 2017 comic of Kang the Conqueror. I think that was really cool, but just the delivery of it and how they came out at first looked very goofy. I think that it was cool, like seeing all the different variants. There was variants of Kang that had like a darker black or gray suit. There were some like alien-looking ones that had scars in the arena. I mean, there were so many different Kang variants, and there were just a lot popping in. So I feel like that's where we're going to pick off from Kang Dynasty, Avengers 5, that comes out in 2025. I'm just ready to see that. Of course, Daniel Destin Cretton, who directed Shang-Chi, is directing that film. And Shang-Chi was the second best, in my opinion, second or third best film in Phase 4. So I'm looking forward to that. I wonder who the exact Avengers are going to be in that film, because obviously they're not going to stand a chance. I mean, they're not even close to the same team before. So yeah, I would say the mid-credit scene, it was cool but goofy at the same time. But I am looking forward to seeing how that correlates directly to Avengers Kang Dynasty. Because Kang is such a great villain, man, and he has so much potential. You saw his power set. The casual fans, the general audience that see this film, they're going to see his power set in full flesh, I would say, to an extent. but I'm ready to see more of him, you know what I'm saying? So getting into the post-credit scene, we see that we pick up like in around the early 1900s, probably like around 1901, with Victor Timely, who is also a variant version of Kang. And it's been rumored that Jonathan Majors is going to be reprising Kang in like 3 episodes, I believe, of Loki season 2. So it's going to be interesting to see if it's just Victor Timely or it's multiple versions, including Victor Timely in this other Kang version that we saw at the end of Loki season 1, that they're in a different version of the TVA. So basically we pick up with Victor Timely. He's in front of an audience talking basically, and it's interesting to see if these same people in the audience are potential TVA people that he brainwashed to being a part of the TVA. But expounding on that pretty much, Loki and Mobius, it seems like this is an episode from Loki season 2 that we're going to see at some point, a scene from it. And we see how terrified that Loki is, of course, meeting He Who Remains in episode 6 in the season finale of season 1. And then Mobius is just like, this is just a regular guy. He's not that intimidating. But it seems like they're gonna be on a conquest to finding stuff about King the Conqueror, trying to ultimately defeat him or just trying to learn more about him. That's what it seems, because this is a different version of Mobius from season 1. Definitely in the Kang Dynasty now, and there's going to be endless versions of him as we can see, but my bone to pick with that really is that we need to be established with one Kang, with a Kang Prime as we know in the comics. And I think that it'll still be that version that we saw in QUANTAMANIA, the version that got sucked into that vortex at the end. I think it's still going to be him. In terms of how we will see him again, like I said earlier in the video, that there's been a rumor that he's going to also become the Beyonder. So I don't know, that'll be cool to see, but I just really think that we should be established with him, learn some of his origins, because he was ultimately the version of Kang that was exiled, and all those other Kangs wanted to kill him. And like we saw in the film, that he wanted to burn those other Kangs out of time because they exiled him to the quantum realm. So I'm interested to see if he's dead. I don't think he's dead, because I mean, we really just saw him get sucked into a vortex, like I said. Because I don't think all those other Kangs, I mean, they're cool. Immortus is cool, Ramontet is cool, and that futuristic version of Kang looks cool. But the one that we saw in QUANTAMANIA, he mostly looks like the version of Kang the Conqueror that we see in the comics, that we've seen in the animated, and seen in just all different versions of Marvel media. So I think that he should be the main version, but we'll see what happens. I mean, the Avengers are going to be facing all these different Kangs, and then ultimately seeing in Secret Wars, which I hope will be a 2-parter, because I think that'll make sense for the story-wise, for quality over quantity, like I noted earlier. I'm just ready to see that, man. And like I said in the video that I made, I believe last month, I think it would be cool if Kang and Dr. Doom are in that together, or we see some type of mishap with that. But I just want a great story, man. Marvel, I mean, a lot of people have been criticizing Marvel since Phase 4, pretty much, and rightfully so. I just want this film to be great. I want all these next films to be great. And I really wanted to love QUANTAMANIA, and it just fell flat for me. I mean, I might go see it again just to make sure my decision is right on this, but for me, man, I really can't put this film past a 7 out of 10. Really, I wanted to put a 6.5 out of 10 if y'all saw my initial reaction video yesterday, but I'll give it a 7 just because of Kang the Conqueror. I mean, he really carried this film. Otherwise, it really would have been a film that I really didn't enjoy that much. Yeah, I might watch it again, but man, I'm just looking forward to more of Kang, and I'm looking forward to Loki season 2. By far, in my opinion, that's been the best Marvel Disney Plus show in the past couple of years since they've been making them. So that was a great written story. I'm looking forward to season 2, seeing more of Kang the Conqueror. We're gonna see more of him because this is a multiverse saga. We're in the Kang Dynasty, Secret Wars era, so I'm looking forward to that. But QUANTAMANIA, I really wanted to love this film. It was just mid to me, like my boy Blessing said, but I mean, I'm looking forward to Kang, that's for sure. All of y'all watching right now, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of Ant-Man and the Wasp: QUANTAMANIA. Obviously, you've seen the film. If you're watching this, or if you haven't, you just don't care. You just wanted to be spoiled and hear about it before, maybe even watching it or not watching it, depending on the review. But just let me know what y'all think, man. Like I said, I loved Kang. This film had so much potential. It really fell a little bit flat for me. I still have hope for Phase 5. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is coming out in May. I think that's going to be a great story. The first 2 Guardians films were great. This is James Gunn's probably last Marvel film ever, because he's going to be the head of DC Studios, which also looks very promising, which could rival Marvel at some point, which will be great because you'll be getting great media on the DC end and also on the Marvel end. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, just looking forward to more of Kang the Conqueror. Y'all let me know in the comments down below what y'all thought of this film. Appreciate you guys always. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SwaggyRuss, and also on TikTok at SwaggyRuss02 for more cooking content, shorts, and videos like that. And yeah, like I said, stay tuned for more pop culture content, of course, sports, of course, lifestyle. This is going to be a great year, like I said, for not only for me, but for y'all. Know that y'all can do anything. I love y'all. Truly, I do mean that. I love all the support. I never take it for granted, man, because there's times on YouTube where I just see a few views and I'm like, man, do I really want to do this? But I appreciate y'all. It really means a lot, and all the hard work will pay off for all of us. So I thank y'all. Be blessed. Love.